Alright, first broadcast. This is actually my first time even trying this. But alright, so welcome to TSW 2020. And today we're going to be running the Amtrak Keystone. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so it would be listed. I already did the activity, but thought I'd do it again. Alright, so back to front it is. So prepare the train for the early morning Keystone service to Philadelphia, calling at Newark Penn Station, Newark Penn Station, and Newark Liberty International Airport. So let's go ahead and run this. Alright. So I've been messing with Train Sim World when I had the Xbox One. And I thought it was cool. This route I like, but I feel there was a lot more that they could have done. Now I find it weird that they have Newark Airport, Newark Penn Station, Secaucus Junction, and Newark Penn Station, but no New Jersey Transit trains. So here we are anyway, Sunnyside Yard in Queens, New York City. Alright, so right now we're going to hop into the cabin of an ACS 64 electric locomotive, which Amtrak and SEPTA have. Alright, so let's hop right in to this bib right here. Alright, so we got to charge up the battery, hold it down for 5 seconds. Alright, now gotta put this in neutral. Let's see what else is next. Let me see. Let's close that circuit. Alright, so let's get out of here. And now here comes the fun part. Gotta walk all the way up to, well, you guys are about to see. For those of you who have yet to play this game, but have heard about it. One of the things they recently came out with for the Northeast Corridor route is X Metroliner cab car, which in the game they call it the Amfleet cab car, but in reality it's an X Metroliner cab car. So we got our switcher locomotive over there. I believe that's a Northeast Regional train, could be a Keystone. But anyway, let's hop right in. Now, I'm gonna let y'all know something. When y'all get into the cabin of this train, yo, I'll put it this way. If you're claustrophobic, you don't want to be in this place. You do not want to be sitting here. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn on the cabin light so you guys can get a good look. So this is pretty much it. This is the space you see here. So I'm guessing the seat does turn around, but don't in this case. So let's go ahead and set a reverser to neutral. Close that circuit. And set our brake mode to trail. Bring it back up to forward. Take our parking brake off. Turn on the wipers. Alright. And let's release the brakes. Alright, one more thing before I forget. Now we got to bring the train up to 5 miles an hour, being that this is a yard. If you guys want to get a good look around, hold on. That's the horn and bell on the ex-metroliner cab car. Now, I actually like this train. There's a unique history to this train. Back in the 60s, we wanted high-speed rail in this country, right? So Pennsylvania Railroad, they had a whole idea of a new bullet train. Now, what they used to test out like the components and whatnot was what we call a Pioneer 3, aka what I call a Silverliner 1. Now, when they tested this train, this thing hit, I believe, like 160, 170 miles an hour. Now, it was shaped nothing like the train you see here. Complete opposite. But it was pretty fast. So then the metroliner came to be. It was a tube-shaped train just like this. Now, they had like different, what you call it? They had different cars, alright? They were all shaped the same. So they had a coach, they had a parlor car, and I believe they had a cafe car. I'm not too sure. But they came into service, I believe, in 1967. And now they were kind of problematic. Jesus, man, my head is all over the place. They were a bit problematic. So they ran until, I believe, the early 1980s. Now before that, Amtrak had something done to them, where they had a roof blister on the roof, right? I guess that was for the intake, for the train. It's cool, kind of like what you see on the stuff the Silverliner 4s. It had, like, on the roof, it had something like that. But they ran into the 80s, and then in the late 80s, they converted the metroliner cars into cab cars, and that's why you see them today on the Keystone, which they're only exclusively on the Keystone. Sometimes they're on the regional shuttle, going from New Haven to Springfield, Massachusetts. But if you guys want to see these things for real, you got to go to the Keystone corridor between Philadelphia and Harrisburg, and then we're letting this train run a little too fast. And then the Northeast corridor between New York City and Philadelphia. Alright, so let's see where we're at now. Okay, still in the yard. Now there was something I read that they were going to do with this place, Sunnyside Yards. They were thinking about building like this huge neighborhood, and they were planning on putting a station around where this yard is today. So the yard would still exist, but they were going to put a station, I believe, where you saw that one Amtrak train passing by on that embankment. Now when you do like the timetable on this game and you want to run this train, they're only going to let you run it to Newark Penn Station. I don't know why. Honestly, I think it's kind of dumb that they only let you run it to Newark Penn, when it also, Keystones also stop at Newark Airport. But one thing I think they should have done was make this route go from New York to Trenton instead. And who knows, maybe in the near future they might make a DLC where, you know, you'll be able to do it. But until then, this is what we got. Alright, so here we go. We're about to go into the East River tunnels. The 7 line, I can see it up ahead. Now normally from here you'd be able to see the Manhattan skyline. So you'd see like the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building. You'd be able to see that from here. Alright, so let's head back into the cabin. Now I will say this: one engine I wish they would have made, and I feel it would have been perfect for this, would have been the AEM7, which is actually my favorite Amtrak electric locomotive. I wish they would have made that shit for this, to be real, but yeah, maybe I might make a proposal on the Dovetail game forums. But you guys could actually go on that site if you ever want them to do like a route or a train. You could always go on their site and make a proposal. And when you guys write these proposals, you got to make it detailed. Alright? Now, I did one years ago for them to do the New Jersey Transit R3 for Train Simulator. And they actually did it. And I included, you know, pictures, a detailed history about them. And, I'll put it this way, man. Like, if y'all want them to make something and y'all write a proposal, just don't hold your breath for it, man. I mean, you never know. It could be on their list, and, you know, they probably got a ton of stuff ahead of it that they got to do. But eventually they'll get to it. Now, I also have the Long Island Railroad route for this game. And I played it more than I played the Northeast Corridor route. Only because it was a perfect commuter rail route from the Great Western Line. But I would like to see him do a New Jersey Transit route for this game, being that I'm from Jersey, so I want to see that shit happen. Alright, so let's see where we're at right now. So right now we're still in Queens, probably about to head into the East River right now. Let's see. Yeah, we're actually passing under the East River right now. So I think this tunnel runs underneath 34th or 33rd Street in Manhattan. So that'd be the street where, you know, Madison Square Garden, Empire State Building is. For those of you that have been to NYC or live around the area, then you know what I'm talking about. The horn does sound a little different though than the actual metroliner cab car. Just a little different. But no, I think it's good. I just wish that this whole cab signal aspect thing here would work. Alright, we gotta slow the train down. We're coming up to New York Penn Station. This is where you can transfer to the New Jersey Transit trains going on the North Jersey Coastline, Morrison Essex line, the Montclair and Boonton line, Gladstone branch, and the Raritan Valley line. Also changed for the Long Island Railroad, and of course the New York City subway system for the ACE 1, 2, and 3 trains. And we're gonna go back to 2005, and before that the 9 train also ran here too. Now, Penn Station's been around for a very long time. It's been around for more than 100 years. And originally there was third rail. That was the only electric power they were getting into this station. And it's still there today. But that's only just for Long Island Railroad. Amtrak, well, for their Lakeshore Limited trains or trains going to upstate New York, they do use the third rail. So eventually, actually before I talk about when they put the catenary up, what it would be like, you actually could see everything once you pull into the station. You could have seen like the buildings around and everything. It's a really nice place. And then when they put in the overhead wires, then, you know, they had to put flooring over the tracks and whatnot. So there was nothing wrong with the place. And then in the 50s and 60s, railroads were starting to lose money thanks to the interstate highway system and the airlines. So Pennsylvania Railroad, oh shit, damn, I fucked up. Alright, let's try this again, yo. This is crazy. Alright. Like, where the fuck was this red signal? But, yeah, so Pennsylvania Railroad, they joined together with New York Central to form Penn Central. Now, they were losing money, and they wound up selling off New York Penn Station to the city of New York. Now, what the city of New York did, they decided to tear down the train station and build Madison Square Garden. Even though the train station would still be there, but the building itself would be demolished to make way for Madison Square Garden. So that's why today Penn Station only exists underground. And before, it had its own building, and honestly, it looked way... If y'all have ever been to Grand Central Station, the original New York Penn Station looked way better than Grand Central. And Grand Central was a very nice train station. But New York Penn Station was 10 times better. And it was huge. Oh, shit. Alright, I'm running up to the damn cab car. So that's why, you go to Penn Station today, you see Madison Square Garden. But there's been talks about, what? Hold on. I already just got in the engine. What the hell? Alright. Here we go. So they've been talking about, tearing down Madison Square Garden, rebuilding New York Penn Station, but it isn't going to be the way the original one was. It wasn't going to look anything like it. So right now what they're doing is that post office building that sits right across the street from Madison Square Garden across 8th Avenue, they're turning that, right now as we speak, it's being turned into a train station. So it should open sometime within the next decade. I think by 2023 they said. Somewhere around there. But I saw, pictures of, the construction and whatnot. It looks really nice though. Which the post office building was built around the same time as the original New York Penn Station. So, the closest you're gonna get really. Alright, so let's throw this back up. So yeah, you guys want to get a good look around the yard real quick. So, like I was saying earlier about what, the plans are for Sunnyside Yards is all this is going to be covered. Alright, so this is going to be pretty much underground. Alright, so what they're going to do is they're going to put buildings over, above these catenary poles and whatnot. So they're planning on building like a hospital and, some apartment buildings. Which I don't think there's been any work done yet. I mean, I think it's still in the planning phase, but those are the plans. Well, at least y'all know now what happens when you run a red signal in this game. So do feel free, comment. Let me know what y'all think. What trains y'all want to see running on this route. I mean, I'm really gonna be pushing. Honestly, I'm gonna be pushing for them to make the New York to Trenton line. Here we go. We got our Amtrak switcher. Now I only bought the Switcher DLC just to run the cab car. So I thought it was a neat add-on, despite you're only making like 2 stops. But I like it though. Now, as far as them making an editor for this, I think if they do, it's only going to be available for the PC. I honestly don't see it happening for the consoles like PS4, Xbox One. I just don't see it happening, man, to be real. It would be nice, but here's the one thing I wish they let you do, though. Is, alright, let's say you have another route in the game that runs, you know, electric trains like this. Right? You could pick whatever train, even if it's ones that don't run on that route, but you want to run it on there anyway. That I'd wish they let you do, just like how you could do on Train Simulator. Alright, so we're almost out of the yard. I believe that's Harold interlocking back there. I read comments on the Dovetail forum site. People were talking about they want them to make the P42 for this route. I'll put it this way, if we want a P42 for the Northeast Corridor, how about this? Let's just do the Keystone Corridor from Philadelphia to, let's say, Paley or something. Right? Then yeah, I could see a P42 happening there. I definitely could see that. But on this section of the Northeast Corridor, nah. You know, all you're gonna do is what? Fuck it, it's not even gonna be a P42, it's gonna be a P32. You're just gonna run it up to New York Penn Station, that's it. You ain't bringing that to Jersey. It's not happening. It's just not. But I believe, you know, an AEM7 or the HHP8 would be more suitable. If we're gonna just talk about Amtrak equipment. Now the Acela, that's where I'm a little iffy with the Acela. This is where I'm gonna get iffy, because I'm not 100% sure if they stop at New Rochelle, but I'm gonna assume that they don't, being that they are express trains. I just don't see it, man. I mean, it's only gonna stop at Newark Penn Station and New York Penn Station. Now the Acela doesn't even stop at Newark Airport, so I just don't see it happening at all. Now, again, if they, like I said, again, with the Newark to Trenton line, then yes, I could see it there. I could see it happening for that. And I'd be all for it, to be real. I'd be all for it. But just for this DLC, I think we should have a New Jersey Transit train. Be it the Alp 46 or my favorite, the Alp 44. With comets and bi-level and, you know, the multi-level coaches, and of course the Arrow 3s. I really wouldn't mind seeing that. Like, that to me would be a little more realistic for this. Let me see the rear of the train. So this is actually the last Amtrak ACS 64 built, number 670. So I actually saw this last night at North Elizabeth when took my kids rail fanning. And of course we caught the veterans unit, number 642. So everyone likes, as far as like Amtrak rail fans, everyone loves to see that one. Alright, so we're gonna try this again. This time, let's try not to run that red signal. This time. Damn it, I should have set up the marker lights on the ACO 64. Fuck. Oh well, fuck it. I'm not even going to put the throttle up anymore, being that we got to slow down to 15 miles an hour soon. Actually start throwing on the brakes now. Alright, so here we go. Coming up to New York Penn Station again. Oh, what they were gonna call it while they were planning on moving the train station to the post office building across the street, Moynihan Station. Which I don't think it's gonna be called Moynihan Station. I'm not gonna lie, I do like the name though. Okay, so there's the signal. Okay. Yeah, so normally this train station would be jam-packed. You'd have Long Island Railroad, New Jersey Transit, Amtrak. You'd be seeing a couple of those trains sitting on different platforms. Alright, so let's start loading passengers. Turn off the wipers. You know, we're underground. Alright, so those of you that want to get a good look at the train now, So it's a coach car. There's no cafe car on the Keystone train. Like I feel like the Keystone in a way is kind of like a commuter train, especially for those in the Philadelphia area, because it does make a couple of stops in that Paley line, well, the Thorndale line for SEPTA. Believe like 3 stops, maybe 4, but overall, it's like a commuter train, an express commuter train on that section of the line. All right, so we gotta wait 3 minutes, actually less than 3 minutes. Usually the train would sit here for a while and then eventually pull off heading east or west. No, westbound, this would be the first stop for the Keystone train. So let's get a good look. I'm gonna see. You know what? Let me go back to the seat. I'm gonna go to the ACS 64 and put the. So we can put those marker lights on. So yeah, New York Penn Station is actually the busiest train station in North America and possibly the world. I think somewhere, I forgot the name of that train station in Tokyo, but I think that one might be just as busy or a little more. Let me see. Oh, so they don't have marker lights on here. That's weird. That is so weird. Okay. Let me see. Oh, nope, they don't. So yeah, they've done a pretty good job with these trains as far as the design and how real they look. They did a great job, except for this part here. This kind of throws me off a little bit. It's like that for all the Amfleet cars, including the ex-metroliner cab car. So we're gonna walk back up to the metroliner car. Now, for those of you that want to see the original metroliner, there's actually one place I know of that has one, and I think it'd be the snack car. Actually, yeah, they didn't have the cafe car; it was a snack car. It's in the Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania, where they also have an Amtrak E60 locomotive and an Amtrak AEM7 number 915 stored there. All right, so let's go ahead and lock up them doors. Our next stop will be Newark Penn Station. Alright, so let's see who's gonna make it to the tunnel first, whether it be us or that train. Oh shit. Damn, I was trying to get a really good snapshot. Oh shit. Alright, so we got a Northeast Regional coming in. So now we're heading into the Hudson Tubes. Well, the Hudson River Tunnel. Alright, so the tracks to the right of the train, that's for the Long Island Railroad to head to the West Side Yards. Then of course we're getting switched all the way to track 2 to head into the tunnel. Now, right now, there's work that needs to be done to these tunnels. These tunnels are actually not in good shape because of Hurricane Sandy. Water has eroded the tunnel a bit, and I know they're trying to get funding to do it, but of course, Dick Stain Donald doesn't want to fund the fucking money, and this is something that needs to be done. But they are building 2 more Hudson River tunnels, one going to Jersey, another one coming into New York. I think they're going to be like the same setup, 1 track in, 1 track out, or 2 tracks in, 2 tracks out. I know it's something like that. Alright, so now we're going up. So we're already in the Hudson River. I'm still not off of how like small this space is. Like, yo, this shit looks uncomfortable, yo. Dead ass. Oh, looks like there's a glitch in the Matrix. Alright, so we're almost out of the tunnels. Right now we're officially in New Jersey. We're passing underneath Weehawken and Union City. And after that we'll be in Secaucus. So now we can bring this up to 90 miles an hour. Back on the wipers. We are lit. Alright, so right now we're in the Meadowlands. Secaucus. Pretty soon we'll be passing through Secaucus Junction, which is the last stop in New Jersey for NJ Transit trains. Amtrak trains don't stop here at all. So we're passing through the station now. So to the right of the train would be the New Jersey Turnpike for the side heading towards the Lincoln Tunnel to go to Manhattan. Which, funny thing about the Northeast Corridor is it parallels I-95 the whole way between Boston to Washington, D.C. I gotta slow it down a little more. Alright, so there's the Turnpike, and we're coming up to Portal Bridge, which is one of the biggest bottlenecks on the Northeast Corridor. There's actually plans to replace this bridge. It's going to be higher, so that way the bridge doesn't have to open up boat traffic. And I think it's supposed to have 4 tracks in total, instead of 2. I just noticed those buildings are sitting in the water. I just peeped that. Alright, let's get back in the cabin. Let's bring this train up to speed. You know, what's the point now? See, that's the thing I hate. They tell you go up to 90 and then, like, right away, before you even get to 90, you gotta bring it back down to 60. No, I always wonder why they don't want you doing like 90 on that bridge. I was always curious about that. Like, it's practically a straightaway. Alright, so here's the Kearny connection, which connects trains on the Morrison-Essex line and Montclair and Boonton lines to New York Penn Station. So this connection itself has been around for 23 years. So ever since then, trains on the M&E and Montclair and Boonton line going into Midtown Manhattan are known as the Midtown Direct. So the line down there, heading the opposite way, goes to Hoboken Terminal. Now, those of you that are Pennsylvania Railroad buffs know that this site I'm passing through here, which is a New Jersey Transit rail yard, and Amtrak also stores their maintenance trains here sometimes. This site here, there was a train station that used to exist here a long time ago, and it was called the Manhattan Transfer. Now, what the Manhattan Transfer was is basically the only way you could get into New York Penn Station was by electric trains, right? So they had third rail running all the way up to here. So steam trains would pull into here, right? And they would uncouple the steam locomotives from the train to put in place the electric locomotives to pull it the rest of the way into New York. So once they electrify the rest of their line all the way up to New York Penn Station via overhead catenary wires that you see there today, then they demolish the train station. There's nothing left. There's no trace of it. I mean, hell, you can even get to it on foot, really. It was only by train you could get there. So here's Harrison Station for the PATH train. And we had to cross that bridge, and we're looking at downtown Newark. we are now arriving. Newark Penn Station. Now track 5 all the way to the right, that's only for the Raritan Valley Line trains heading west. And then 3 and 4, well, 3 and 4 would be for New Jersey Transit. Amtrak stops on track 2 and 3. So we're on track 3. Sometimes they stop on track 1 and track A. Alright, let's start loading. This is Newark Penn Station. So this track here, again, Raritan Valley Line, Northeast Corridor and North Jersey Coastline trains. North Jersey and Northeast Corridor line trains here too. And North Jersey Coastline here for the trains coming from Hoboken. And eastbound Amtrak trains here. And then of course, New York City bound NJ Transit trains will be on this track here. And also this one. And this is for the path, which there's supposed to be a third rail, but they didn't include that. Now, if you go to the waiting area of this train station, you'll notice that the seats there still got the Pennsylvania Railroad logos on them. Seriously, we gotta wait 2 minutes, my guy? 2 minutes? Alright, I guess we're gonna wait 2 minutes. Actually, a minute. Yeah, I know. Damn, man, hopefully I can get this done before the hour's up. Shit. Alright. Almost about to dip on out of here. Alright. Let's get out of here. Alright, next stop, Newark Liberty International Airport. Even on this route, this would be the last stop. Oh, my daughter is talkative today. Damn. Go ahead, talk away. Alright, so the tracks to the right here would be the storage yard for the PATH trains. So right now, let me see. So McCarter Highway would be right here. Alright, time to slow that train down. Alright, maybe I slowed it down a little too much. Alright, so the Raritan Valley line would actually go to the tracks on the right. Let me see, you actually be able to see. Okay, yeah, the two tracks that split off going to the right. That's the Raritan Valley line. Those of you that are not familiar. Alright, so we're getting to our last stop. Newark International Airport. Looks like, I believe that's a Northeast Regional train waiting right up there on the eastbound track. And this is the last stop on the line. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. There will be more train sim videos to come. Probably just gonna do it on here for a while. So until next time. Again, let me know in the comments what route you'd like to see them make. Let's check out. Now over here, this part of the station, there's actually a monorail that takes you from the station all the way to the airport terminals, which they didn't put the lines at all. They just put like a roadway down there. But yeah, you can't go west of here on the train in the game. But next stop from here would be North Elizabeth, then Elizabeth, Linden, Rahway, Metro Park, Metuchen, Edison, New Brunswick, Jersey Avenue, Princeton Junction, Hamilton, and Trenton. Just like taking tons of screenshots of this train. Alright. Alright, and that's it. So this is the Amtrak Keystone. So if you guys enjoy the video, and thanks for watching.